Welcome to Marty's Vice. This afternoon I'm tying an EVA Ant. EVA stands for Evazote. Main material here is this Hareline Evazote foam. This is neat stuff. It floats really well, gives a nice shiny profile. It's got some drawbacks. It's a little bit tender. You got to be careful with your thread so you don't cut it. You got to be careful with your wraps so that the foam doesn't squirt out from under them. And it's a little bit tender. When you get fish start chewing on it, the teeth will tear it up a little bit, but between you and me, I kind of like it when fish are tearing up and chewing on my flies. I'm going to cut this thing to a point so that when I tie it in, there's not quite as much buildup, and it'll let me kind of spiral my thread back and bite down a little more foam with each wrap. Not too tight, and I'm going to check and see that it's square against the hook, and then I'll come forward to just in front of the point of the hook. Now I don't want to stretch this foam. I'm just going to lay it over and pinch it and compress it a little bit so I don't have to compress it with the thread nearly as much. And that'll take me almost to the halfway point. What I'm going to do here is move the thread all the way to the eye. Lay the foam down. I'm using a fairly thin thread so I can make a whole bunch of wraps and control the tension rather than making it terribly tight. Now, it looks like the two sections, but I'm going to move over and kind of crush the front half of that down so that the ball you see in the middle is actually the middle section. Now I can fold this back and there's my head. Now, I'm going to get in there tight and cut it. I got a bunch of garbage in there, so I'm going to make more wraps to compress it. Now I'm back to 3 sections. And I'm going to move my thread to the back section for the rear set of legs. And for legs I'm using black Krystal Flash. And I'm just going to tie couple in on the near side, couple on the far side. Now I got so much foam under the thread that I can wrap tightly here and not worry about cutting the foam. Now I'm going to move the foam up to right behind the head. And I only need a 1/5 and a 1/6 leg. And as long as I get a little bit of an extra wrap across them, I'll get them to stand forward a little bit. Now I can move to the front. And then eyeball it from the top and see where you need to trim to keep the legs symmetrical and in plane so it lies flush in the water. There's a good floating EVA ant.